What's up, guys? It's the Game Bro coming back to you, looking at another review today. It's Metal Black. Oh shit. This forgotten Sega Saturn Japanese release only shoot 'em up. The side-scrolling two-player, developed and published by Taito in arcades of November 1991 in Japan and Europe. On May 24th, 1996, it was brought to life on the Sega Saturn by Ving, in Japan only. Under the Arcade Gears budget line. This game was also later ported onto the 2006 Taito Legends 2 compilation, and will also be one of the announced titles on the upcoming Taito mini arcade. Some interesting background on Metal Black. It was created under the working title Project Gun Frontier 2, and was made by most of the same people behind Gun Frontier, but that was about its only relation to it. Initially, it was to be developed into a third Darius game, but it was put aside as Taito said it was too dark.
So regular.
It's very similar to Darius Gaiden with the robot animal-like bosses instead of robot fish. This is said to be a spiritual predecessor to the epic G-Rev Border Down, and inspired its beam mechanics, as Metal Black is said to be one of the first games to have a boss beam battle. After the first and third stages, you get bonus rounds to lock on the enemies with a time limit. If you die, you lose a life, but you also score some extra points too in the process. As for a plot, in 2042, meteorites ravage the Earth while the extraterrestrial cybernetic force named Nemesis that hide behind it wait to just invade Earth and fucking waste it for all their stuff. Earth scientists study the molecules that power the enemy weapons, and is called the New Alone. Project Metal Black is focused on making an army of ships with the same weapons, called the CF-345 Blackfly. But 10 years after,
Fuck the guys in the war, the Nazis and BMW, Germany.
a peaceful surrender is signed, Pussy Move, and Project Metal Black is put on hold. With Earth struggling for survival, you play rogue pilot John Ford, not Henry Ford, not that other President Ford, but John Ford, who commandeers one of the Blackflies to save humanity. The events of the game unfold over the 6 stages, traveling to Jupiter and fight the Nemesis. The final 2 stages take place in the Nemesis, with 2 possible endings. If Ford dies in the last stage, a coup is launched and 20,000 Blackflies are launched at the Nemesis. If you live, Ford confronts the leader in a shape-shifting dimension, culminating in Earth being split in 2. We could all be so fortunate. And speaking of fortunate, the average price varies, but around $100 is what you should expect to pay for a decent used copy of Metal Black. But what are you guys here for, man? What are you watching? What are you subscribing? What do you want to know? You want to know how it plays. Is it worth buying? I have no complaints about the controls. Pretty straightforward, crisp, no delay, good Saturn feel. Ship design is actually pretty lame, though, for as badass as some of the other Darius ships are. Definitely the Costco BJ's type of design. But weaponry, though, simple. Fucking awesome. If the ship design was Taco Bell, the special weapons are Torre for sure. Your standard shot weapon is also pretty powerful, and just like the beam, you're able to level it up to a number 8. The problem is, when your beam gets fully used, your number for your standard shot goes down, and when you press your special weapon, it will discharge all of it, and then you're fucked. So the key is, while you're using your beam and fighting these bosses, to catch as much of the molecules as possible to keep going and keep the bosses from getting it themselves to overpower you. As for the bosses, design's pretty epic, and that moon hatching scene where it breaks out is one of the coolest you'll ever see. Level design ranges from epic to awesome to okay. The first level being the coolest because Ford leaves the wasted Earth.
Back when I was a kid, Millard Fillmore was president. Marshall Tucker Band.
Others are somewhat standard and pretty trippy at times, with closing walls or enemies that lead to some cheap deaths. But it has that Taito promiscuousness, because Metal Black is definitely a backdoor girl. She lives alone, but she loves the thrill of taking out the Irem, Konami, and Capcom guys for some Mexican pancakes. The beam battles are really a sight to behold. It's not as good as the legendary Border Down or the stuff those faggy kids watching Dragon Ball Z now, but for the time, this was probably pretty revolutionary, led to some of the inspiration for Darius Gaiden as well. But unfortunately with Metal Black, the boss fights and the levels tend to drag on, like as long as Missionary with this art major you picked up at the Silk Mill last Wednesday night. And if the bland sex was the boss battle, Having to listen to her talk about her hopes and dreams the whole time while she had a Moscow Mule.
Oh, what is this music? When I was kids, we only had Skinner.
Was definitely the build-up in the level length. But although Metal Black goes unnoticed and looks pretty unassuming, an experience awaits the one who stops to crack open this rough, aged oyster to find the awaiting pearl. And what catty-ho doesn't love a pearl necklace? So that's what I've thought of Metal Black and Girls from the Valley. It's definitely worth the pick up and play, and like that backdoor girl that'll take you out and show you a good time, but nothing else, it's really worth it just for that. The experience of playing it. The experience of having fun. Some history behind it. Because I feel like Metal Black really is the gateway drug to games like Border Down and some of the later Darius games. So, if you like this video, give me a like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the little bell button, and help your boy out a little bit. Until next time, keep it fresh. It's the Game Bro. Later.
Oh, Marshall Tucker Band.